The meeting of the Broward County Commission is about to begin. Will all audience members please silence your cell phones? For those viewing from home or on mobile devices, thank you for... The meeting of the Broward County Commission is about to begin. Will all audience members please silence your cell phones? For those viewing from home or on mobile devices, thank you for watching. To stay informed about Broward County government, please visit broward.org or follow us on social media. County Commission meetings are open to the public. Members of the public wishing to be heard on any agenda item can register one of two ways. Visit registertospeak.broward.org and fill out the online registration form, or scan the QR code posted in various locations inside and just outside the Commission chambers to register on your mobile device. A registration form must be completed for each item you wish to speak on. If you have trouble registering digitally, visit County Administration on the 4th floor for assistance. All speakers must appear in person. No further speaker signups will be accepted after an item has been called. Please show respect for others and refrain from making impertinent, slanderous remarks or personal attacks. Boisterous behavior, including applause, booing, and cheering, is not permitted. Thank you for joining us. The meeting will begin shortly.
Looks like I have a lot of pull here, doesn't it? Nobody's listening. Okay, commissioners. Commissioner Furr, Commissioner Bogan, Commissioner Geller. Okay. Got the... Ladies and gentlemen, if I can have your attention, please. Thank you. Take your seats, please. Well, good morning. We're going to call the order of the Broward County Board of County Commissioners meeting this Tuesday, April 4, 2023 at 10:05 a.m. We ask you now to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Dunlap, Phil Dunlap, would you please come lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance as our cultural guru, followed by some moment of silence we'll talk about.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing, ladies and gentlemen. It is customary that we observe a moment of silence in honor of notable persons from our community who have recently passed. We'll start with our colleagues. Commissioner Rogers, do you have anybody?
Mrs. Hanson, and just offer condolences to the family members.
Mrs. Hanson. Senator Geller?
Yes, sir. Two, actually. First, many of us knew Shelley Spivak, who was many things to many of us. She worked for Congressman Larry Smith for a while. She was a well-known lobbyist in Tallahassee, locally. Just an all-around good person, well-known in the Hollywood community. And Shelley passed away recently, and services are going to be noon at Beth David Memorial Gardens in Hollywood, and then a celebration of her life will be held at her house from 2 o'clock to 6 p.m. on Friday. Also, we lost about a week ago former state representative Sam Bell, actually Sam Bell III. Sam was a state rep in Tallahassee from 1974 to 1988, served as chair of the Appropriations and the Rules Committees. Anybody that knows Tallahassee knows that those are very powerful committees. He was actually scheduled to be my first speaker. I was elected in '88. He was scheduled to be speaker in '88, and in a upset lost his reelection, even though he was scheduled to be the next speaker. Sam was also married to someone that we all know, former senator, former education commissioner Betty Castor. They had a great family. Sam was a tireless advocate in many issues, particularly in children's issues, and there's a couple people that, you reserve the name, one of the lions of the legislature, and Sam was definitely one of those people, an all-around good person. And Florida is diminished by both the loss of Shelley Spivak and Sam Bell.
Thank you, Senator. Commissioner Furr?
Thank you. I think many of us were saddened by the passing of Shelley Spivak. I was first introduced to her by my predecessor, Sue Gunsberger, who was her best friend. And I had a chance to have a lot of lunches with Shelley at Jack's Diner in Hollywood. She was she was a Hollywoodian all the way down to her core. And I loved speaking with her because she was as frank as you could be. Just tell you how it was. But she really wanted to see really good government. She was, at her heart, she wanted to see good government, good community, and for all those, I think we're all going to be missing her a lot.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Actually, the same two people that have been discussed. Just about Sam Bell, I never had the opportunity to serve with him, but he was a mentor to me when I got to the legislature, and he was extremely helpful to me in passing a piece of legislation for kid care in 2009 that was passed on the first day of the Senate session that year, but was not passed until the very last day of the session on the House side. And he just stuck with it, lobbied, advocated, along with several of his buddies up there. He was such a champion for children. And he's just going to be so sorely missed. Most recently, I've been working with him on the Florida Leadership Council, where he has been very concerned about the direction that we're going in terms of our democracy and academic freedom. So he will be sorely missed. And my condolences certainly go out to Betty Castor, to Betty and the family. I do want to mention also Shelley Spivak. I had gotten calls from both Bob Butterworth and Marta Prado, who are dear friends of hers, and Sue Gunsberger, and it was a very upsetting time. I've known Shelley since the 80s when she worked for Congressman Larry Smith, and then I was fortunate enough to work with her in the legislature and then now here. She had an amazing background. For those of you who might not be aware, she was such a champion of the arts. Down in Miami, she was the chair of the Coconut Grove Playhouse Board. She was involved with the New School of the Arts. Most recently, though, I want to say that she was so committed to changing things and helping make things better in Hollywood, especially for the homeless. And it's a very frustrating experience and a very frustrating job, as we all know, because it's difficult in terms of people wanting to have homeless programs or affordable housing programs or whatever, but in their areas. But she just wasn't giving up, and she never gave up. She was a tough lady, but a kind, wonderful person who really cared about the right things and cared about people. So she will also be sorely missed.
Thank you. Commissioner Udine? Commissioner Bogan?
No, nothing more I can say.
Commissioner
I
Kinsey?
mentioned last commission meeting to pray for the life of Fred Hall, a gentleman that was struck by a police chase, not the police officer that hit him, but the murderer they were chasing pinned this gentleman against his office door one early morning as he was opening up his auto body shop. Second generation, well-known family. He transitioned a week ago, and I just want us to keep his family in prayer. And it's tough. This guy was going to work. He was going to work. Opened the door of his office, pinned, and he's no longer here. I'm not speaking badly about the police chase, but an innocent person died that day. Fred Hall, 4 generations of Halls in our community, business owners, and people that give back all the time.
I want to recognize Mark Zinrim, who was one of our security officers at the Government Central West, who passed away last week. I want to keep him and his family in our prayers as well. Let us also honor all the brave men and women who have served and continue to serve in our armed forces, both here and abroad, and thank them for their service. A moment of silence, please. Thank you. Take your seats, please. Well, today's music was brought to us by Commissioner Hazel Rogers. The artist is Empress Unique, which we'll hear about momentarily, I believe. Song 1 was Walk Through This World With Me, and Song 2 was Put It Down. So thank you for those excellent music selections. I do want to understand, I want to introduce Commissioner Rogers so she can talk about our artist. I believe she is here this morning.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, colleagues, Lady Empress Unique, can you please stand? Dynamic, powerful, resonating, yet sweet, describes this beautiful lady and her voice. I'm honored to have her give of her talents, share her talents with us this morning. I hope we have one more piece for the audience. So thank you. I just want to say thank you. Jamaica loves you. We love you. And I'll see you at Unifest in the city of Lauderdale Lakes. You might not be singing, but I know you will be in the audience dancing. And I will be right beside you because we love to dance. Thank you for sharing your talents with us this morning.
So Mike, would you play the additional song?
Let's wind up.
the floor is back to you. Because we
Very
could stay
good.
here all afternoon,
Very
all
good.
morning,
Hey.
having a good time. Thank you. Lady Empress Unique for joining us this morning. Thank you very much.
Very good. All righty, let's, now I have 3 proclamations that are going to be presented this morning. We'll begin with Water Conservation Month. Will be presented by Commissioner Bean Fur. Representatives from the City of Coral Springs, City of Deerfield Beach, City of Hollywood, City of Miramar, City of Plantation, City of Fort Lauderdale, and the City of Pembroke Pines. If those representatives are here, please join Commissioner Fur for Water Conservation Month.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, it's great to hear the local talent. That was nice to hear. A lot of good stuff. And I know Philip's here, so I know we're trying to pull together all the singers, songwriters, all that stuff together. So when we can do that, it'd be great. Today we have a number of cities joining us. Claudia Alzate from the City of Coral Springs. Is Claudia here? Claudia? I don't know Claudia. Mike Purcell and Adrian Mokanu from the City of Deerfield Beach, Glenn Hadwin from City of Fort Lauderdale, Luis Montoya and Vincent Morella from City of Hollywood, Francois Dumont from the City of Miramar, Julie Fisher from the City of Pembroke Pines, Joanne Williams and Danielle Polio from the City of Plantation. And we're here for Water Conservation Month. And for those, I think most of us know, our history in Broward is one of water. Managing it, draining the swamp, channeling it, whatever we can do. And our futures depend on it as well. Figuring out how to preserve it and how to make sure that we have quality of water for our kids and their kids. This is the 25th anniversary of the Water Conservation Month, and we can only do this with our partners. It is to be able to preserve the water that our drinking water supply for 2 million people. You get 2 million people with a straw every single day taking a sip out of that, and it's not easy. But you guys, all the cities, 15 different cities, have been helping with the county to make sure that we have been able to preserve our water supply, and thank you for it. So with that, whereas water is a basic and essential need for every living creature, and clean and sustainable water resources are vital to the environment, economy, and quality of life enjoyed throughout Florida and in Broward County. And whereas Broward County, municipal and water utility partners, water management districts, the state of Florida, and the school board of Broward County are working together to increase awareness about the importance of water conservation. And whereas Broward County has always encouraged and supported water conservation through various educational programs and special events, and whereas every business, industry, school, and resident can make a difference when it comes to conserving water and promote a healthy economy and community, and whereas household leaks can waste nearly 10,000 gallons of water annually. 10% of homes have leaks that waste 90 gallons or more per day. Fixing leaks inside and outside of home and business can save valuable water and money. And whereas Broward County is calling upon each resident and businesses to help protect our precious resources by practicing water safety measures and becoming more aware of the need to save water. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Broward County, Florida, that the board hereby designates April 2023 as Water Conservation Month in Broward County, Florida for this, the 25th year of Water Conservation Month, with special focus on fixing leaks and all forms of water loss, signed by our Mayor, Lamar Fisher. And let me just say, in addition to that, one of the main things that we've been able to do, and for people that don't know, if you're putting in a new toilet, you can get a rebate on that. And all these cities, all 15 cities, are helping on that. And so with that, if we can do a picture, would anybody like to speak? Go ahead.
Anybody wish to say a few words? Nobody wants to speak?
Okay. With that, I will, let me pass these out, and then we'll do a picture.
We'll definitely take a picture, so everybody can come forward here in front of the dais. That would be great.
Prox.
Thank you, Commissioner Furr, for that presentation.
Spirit change, they're expected about $400.
Our next proclamation will be in honor of Second Chance Month, presented by Commissioner Hazel Rogers to Joshua Brown, I believe. Commissioner, Mr. Brown, would you please join at the front podium?
Good morning, everyone, to our listeners, those in the virtual world. I'm Hazel Rogers, County Commissioner for District 9, and I'm so honored and privileged. Thank you, Mayor, for the opportunity to present this proclamation. And it reads, whereas Second Chance Month reaffirms the importance of helping people who were formerly incarcerated re-enter our society and live in a meaningful and productive life. Whereas it's estimated that over 640,000 people are released from state and federal prison each year, and more than 70 million Americans have a criminal record that creates significant barriers to employment and economic stability. Whereas because of numerous legal and regulatory laws, nearly 75% of people who were formerly incarcerated are still unemployed 1 year after being released. And whereas, in addition to employment, individuals with a criminal history often struggle to find housing, community acceptance, and face significant financial debt that arises as a result of their conviction and incarceration. And whereas these barriers often result in repeat offenses, which increases victimization and decreases public safety efforts. And whereas allowing a person to have a second chance reinforces the belief that every person should be treated with dignity and respect. And whereas by focusing on prevention, re-entry, and social support, we as a society affirm that a second chance ensures opportunity for all. Now therefore be it proclaimed by Broward County Board of Commissioners that the board hereby proclaims April 23rd as Second Chance Month in Broward County. We value you, and I'm going to allow you to speak. Take a moment to just express your experiences, and welcome home.
Good morning, Mayor, Vice Mayors, Commissioner. Actually, I wasn't affected by these policies, but we have loved ones that has. And so it's my duty, like Vice Mayor said, to advocate, to champion for these individuals, to give them the voice, to give them the opportunity to let their stories be heard, and to champion with them. So as that being said, we start with this city, and we navigate, and we set the bar for the rest of the state to start recognizing April as Second Chance Month, like our neighboring counties and our neighboring states. So Step Up is just doing the grassroots work in the community to advocate for these individuals, to say, hey, you made a mistake. Let's rectify that mistake, and here's your second chance. So with the honor of Commissioner Rogers and the rest of the other commissioners and Vice Mayor and Mayor, I want to say thank you on behalf of returning citizens and the community for recognizing these individuals in the month of April. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Colleague, no, he's not going anywhere. He is passionate about making sure he's a face for second chancers, and we all believe in that. So thank you all very much.
All right, let's cut, Commissioner Rogers will have a picture taken as well.
One last thing, I have the walk coming April 22nd. It will be at Delaware Park Trail. If anyone want to come, if you register, you will get a T-shirt, Second Chance Matter T-shirt, and the walk is April 22nd from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Post. You're going to hear success stories of individuals who actually lived this experience.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Come forward with it. Yes. Senator Geller?
I wanted to briefly comment before you take a picture. While I was in the legislature, this is one of my top issues, because what a lot of people don't realize, it's not, the second chance is important, But the part of the problem is that the legislature has been making more and more, seems like it's an annual circumstance, that if you've committed this crime, then you can't work in these fields. If you commit that crime, you can't work. When you look at the cumulative effect of that, there are hardly any professions left where you can earn a reasonable living, where the state says, all right, go out and rehabilitate yourself and go out and get a good job and sin no more. But they prevent you from doing that by preventing so many people from getting any jobs that can earn a reasonable living. And this is something that not enough people are paying attention to, and we have to understand. I mean, unless the concept is that once you commit your first crime, we assume you're never going to get, you will always be in prison, which would not be a good idea. We have to understand better that people need the opportunity to get the training and get into acceptable jobs and careers that will pay a living, and that seems to go against everything the legislature stands for these days.
Beautiful dreamer. All right, two down, one to go. One more.
Thank you, Commissioner Rogers, for that presentation. Our last proclamation is for Child Abuse Prevention Month, presented by our own Vice Mayor Nan Rich, and it'll be presented to Carrie Ann Brown, which is a volunteer recruiter from the statewide Guardian Ad Litem office. Ms. Brown, welcome.
Going to correct this. Is everyone here? Anyone else in the audience that's the staff and volunteers of the Guardian Ad Litem program? Thank you all for being here. Roll call. Thank you. Roll call.
Anyone else that wants to come forward, please come forward.
Okay. So, if you're a Guardian Ad Litem, you can come up, yes. Right. Oh, this is one of my greatest pleasures every year to present a proclamation to the Guardian Ad Litem program. I go back a long way with this program, as Carrie Ann knows. And by the way, these folks here, and she is a recruiter for the Broward, not the statewide, but the Broward. As there's some changes are going to be made. We're going to redo the proclamation so that it's clearly understood. There's a statewide program, and I'll tell you about that in 1 second, but then there's the individual programs. And all of these people work for or volunteer with the Guardian Ad Litem program in Broward County. And this program, Guardian Ad Litem, started in 1980. It was passed by the legislature, not the statewide office, but the Guardian Ad Litem program itself in the individual circuits. And it wasn't until 2003 that a bill was passed, and I'm proud to say that I sponsored it, creating the statewide office of the Guardian Ad Litem program. And the reason was because we didn't have a level playing field, even training across the state for all the circuits. And it was very important that everybody have that kind of training and be prepared to be a Guardian Ad Litem. So that was a sign, and I have to say, it was a different day. because it was signed by Governor Jeb Bush, who supported heavily the statewide Office of the Guardian Ad Litem program and signed the legislation. So let me just say one thing, that it's been proven how important it is to have someone in the court who is specifically there to protect the best interest of the child. And the guardian ad litem is the person, the only person in the court who has that specific role. So that's why what they do is so incredibly important. So I'll read the proclamation. Whereas April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month, and April 16th to the 22nd, 2023 is National Volunteer Week. And whereas the statewide Guardian Ad Litem program provides representation for abused, abandoned, and neglected children in the dependency court proceedings, and whereas the statewide Guardian Ad Litem program's current model of representation is nationally recognized as best practice because it uses the multidisciplinary team model that includes a Guardian Ad Litem, and a Guardian Ad Litem attorney, a child welfare professional, and a trained volunteer or pro bono attorney. Whereas for 43 years, the Guardian Ad Litem program has provided the most vulnerable children in Florida with an adult from their community who is a consistent, positive presence in the child's life. And whereas the statewide Guardian Ad Litem office created in 2003 provides high-quality community advocacy and legal representation to protect each child's rights and legal interests. And whereas for 20 years, the statewide Guardian Ad Litem program has provided independent legal advocacy for hundreds of thousands of vulnerable children located throughout Florida. Whereas the statewide Guardian Ad Litem program had more than 11,000 volunteers, that's statewide, and advocated for more than 36,000 abused and neglected children in Florida in 2022. Whereas the Guardian Ad Litem program in the 17th Judicial Circuit, Broward County, oversees a volunteer base of 490 people and advocates for more than 1,500 abused, abandoned, and neglected children in Broward County. Whereas the statewide Guardian Ad Litem pro bono attorneys sacrifice time worth over $3.6 million in-kind donations to the state of Florida. And whereas the statewide Guardian Ad Litem program volunteers sacrifice time and mileage worth millions of dollars annually to the state of Florida, and they've provided an invaluable service to dependency court judges. And whereas studies show that children with a volunteer Guardian Ad Litem are more likely to be adopted, half as likely to re-enter foster care, less likely to spend time in long-term foster care, more likely to have a permanency plan, and more likely to perform well in school. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Broward County, Florida, that the board hereby designates the month of April 2023 as Child Abuse Prevention and Volunteer Appreciation Month in Broward County, Florida. Yes, go ahead. Your turn.
Good morning, Mayor Fisher. Thank you for having me here, and Vice Mayor Rich for making this happen again this year. I want to also just recognize that our Circuit Director, Cassandra Phillips, is here this morning with us. And I just want to say thank you to all our volunteers that have stepped up and make a big difference in our children's lives, and all those pro bono attorneys that have stepped in to advocate for our children. And it's sad that I'm still here today again this year, but we still have our children that we need to advocate for. So my plea also is, in ending, is if you're a pro bono attorney, volunteer with us, everyday person, you don't have to have a legal skill just to advocate for our children. So we're always looking for volunteers to step in and be that voice for that child. And the great part about it is that you just have to visit with a child once a month. If you want to do more, you can. So think about it based on how many people we have living in Broward County. if even one person out of every 100 would step up and advocate for children, it would make such a big impact for our office and speaking up for children in care. And just to show, that we are a part of this cause and advocating for children, tomorrow in Broward County, a lot of community partners have come together, and tomorrow is Wear Blue Day in our county. So I ask everyone to spread the word and share that if we see something, we need to say something about our children in care. So, so if you want to volunteer or become a pro bono attorney, information is there on our guardianadlitem.org. And you'll have, where you can go in and just put your information in, whether you want to volunteer with us or become a pro bono attorney, and you'll be directed to our circuit here in Broward County. So thank everyone that was not able to be here today, or volunteers. We just want to say thank you, and for all volunteers across all agencies that support our children in care, thank you for all that you do. Cassandra.
Yes.
Good morning again. I just wanted to add something to what Vice Mayor said, and as well as Carrie Ann Brown, our recruiter, said. It would be remiss for me as the Circuit Director for Broward County not to actually thank Broward County for assisting with our office, as well as the other community providers in our catchment area that aid our families, which includes our vulnerable children and their families in regards to services. We are a community that works very closely together, and a lot of the programs that the Commission does support does aid in our ability to effectively advocate for our children on a daily basis. And as Carrie Ann indicated, we always in the need of volunteers. There's no particular skill set that you must have, but you need to have a caring heart. You have to care about what's best for other people. And in that, I guess I'll close, because they kind of, Vice Mayor Rich pretty much explained everything. You took my thunder, but that's okay. But I just wanted to say thank you for the county for supporting us, supporting the programs that's out there. They do make a difference. And again, our volunteers, those who are here or looking in, or just, we appreciate everything that they do, because it wasn't for the volunteers being a part of the multidisciplinary team, we will not be able to advocate the way that we do. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's now take a picture, we can, Vice Mayor, of everybody.
Could we get a few more people on? Over here. One, two.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Thank you for all those who came today to celebrate that proclamation. Thank you so much. As we're back in our seats, I'd like to again welcome Georgina Rivera, our reading clerk today. Welcome back, Georgina. I'd like you to read the Tuesday morning memo, if you would.
Tuesday agenda memorandum. The following are submitted for your consideration. Consent items are within 27. Public hearing items are 28 through 31. Regular items are 32 through 45. I request the following withdrawals and scrivener error corrections and inclusion of additional information. Withdrawals, deferral, substitutions. Item number 33, at the request of the Speaker, the delegation request is being deferred to the May 2nd, 2023 Commission meeting. Scrivener errors. Item number 14 currently reads from Palm Beach County Rural Residential to Future Land Use to Commerce. Should read from Palm Beach County Rural Residential 10, Future Land Use to Commerce. Item number 28 currently reads, recorded in Official Records Book 27771, page 73 of Broward County, Florida. Should read, recorded in Official Records Book 27771, page 73 of the Official Records of Broward County, Florida. Item number 29 currently reads, recorded in Official Records Book 18128, page 934 of Broward County, Florida. Should read, recorded in Official Records Book 18128, page 934 of the Official Records of Broward County, Florida. Additional information. Item number 20, the board's consideration of this item will be based on the agreement as modified by the additional material. Item number 39, the board's consideration of this item will be based on the amendment distributed as additional material. Item number 40, Commissioner Mark Bogan requests to be added as a co-sponsor. Mayor requests without objection items 37, 38, 39, and 44 be moved to consent. Additional material, regular meeting. Items 1B and 1C, board appointments. Item number 20, proposed agreement amendment submitted by the Office of the County Attorney. Item number 39, agreement submitted by Finance and Administrative Services Department. Item number 41, memo to the board submitted by County Administration. Additional material, public hearing. Item number 31, memo to the board submitted by Resilient Environment Department.
Thank you very much. We are now under a consent agenda. I'm going to ask for any polls, beginning with Vice Mayor Rich. Any polls?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Number 4 for an abstention.
Very good. Commissioner Bogan?
No polls.
Commissioner Dean?
No polls.
Myself, no polls. Senator Geller?
None, sir.
Commissioner Furr?
18.
18. Commissioner Ryan?
I'm not.
Commissioner McKenzie?
No, sir.
And Commissioner Rogers. Very good. County Administrator? Very good. County Attorney?
None, Mayor.
Our wonderful County Auditor? And last but not least, any public, Ms. Campbell? Very good. Okay, I'll ask our County Attorney to read the consent for consideration for approval.
Thank you, Mayor. The consent agenda for this morning would be items 1 through 27, minus the following 2 items. Item 4 for an abstention, and item 18 was pulled by Commissioner Furr. And then adding to the consent agenda are items 37, 38, 39, and 44.
Mayor, move approval of the consent agenda as read by the county attorney.
Senator Geller moves it, Commissioner Dean seconds it, and I'd want to remind everybody today that we want to make sure that your voice is heard in the microphone. I guess our voices aren't coming over when we do vote, so County Attorney says, please, with enthusiasm, say yea or nay if you would, okay? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously, 9-0.
Where's that guy?
Thank you. Item 4, Ms. Rivera.
Yes, my abstention.
Item 4 is a motion to approve agreement between Broward County and the Area-Wide Council on Aging of Broward County, Inc. for senior services in Broward County and supplemental rollover funds to purchase electronic devices for eligible seniors.
Very good. Vice Mayor Rich?
Yes, thank you. I serve on the board of the Area-Wide Council on Aging, which will be financially impacted. If item 4 passes, I do not receive any compensation for serving on this board, and I therefore have no actual statutory voting conflict. However, to avoid the appearance of a conflict, I'm abstaining on item 4 and ask that this be reflected in the minutes.
Is there a motion?
Move it.
Been moved by Commissioner Bogan.
Second.
Second by Commissioner McKenzie. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 9-0. Thank you so much for that.
You have the abstention, right?
Item number,
I'm sorry,
I'm sorry,
Commissioner McKenzie, I couldn't hear you. What was your
8-0
vote?
with 1 abstention. 8-1, okay? Apologize, thank you for that. Vice Mayor? Item number 18.
18.
Item 18 is a motion to approve agreement between Broward County and Carol J. Brees for employment as the Broward County Inspector General commencing on May 2nd, 2023.
Thank you. Commissioner Furr, you pulled this item?
I did, thank you. And I'm really just taking this moment to thank our Inspector General. He is going to be retiring May 1st, I believe, and Carol Brees will be taking his place. In the 12 years since he's been in that position as Inspector General, I think he's done a very good job. I think our county has been better for it. I think when I listen and when we go a chance to either national events or even throughout the state, when I see the way that Broward County deals with this ethics and the laws that surround it, I think it's something we can be proud of. And he was our first Inspector General, and I think he, as it is with whoever's the first person in one of those positions, it's very important how they conduct themselves, because it kind of sets a precedent for those who follow. Carol Brees will be following him in her position, and I wish her well, and I wish Inspector General John Scott the best.
Thank you very much. Is there a motion?
Move it. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Bogan, seconded by Commissioner Rogers. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 9-0. Thank you.
I didn't hear how Commissioner McKenzie voted.
I voted, yeah, that's it.
All right.
You voted publicly, but,
All right, that concludes,
Yes.
that concludes our consent agenda. We are now on our public hearings, which is item 28 through 31. We'll begin with item 28. Ms. Rivera, thank you.
The public hearing on item 28 is now open. Item 28 is a motion to adopt resolution releasing a 20-foot variable width access and utility easement as recorded in Official Records Book 27771, page 73 in the city of Deerfield Beach. No member of the public has signed up to speak on this item.
Move approval.
Okay, public portion closed.
Move it.
Moved by Senator Geller, second by Commissioner Bogan. Any further discussion?
No, excuse me, Mayor, I moved it.
No, you were talking to McKenzie when I moved.
Listen, any discussion on the commission level? Commissioner McKenzie?
No discussion. I think he made the.
Move it, yeah.
See, I have the right as the mayor.
Because I was listening to him.
Mayor.
And I recognize Senator Geller on that one. I reckon use his second.
I was not paying attention. I was listening to
I want to
Commissioner
file
Bogan.
protest, Mayor.
Now we need to bring it back to order. Okay.
It's 3:30.
I know. Okay, no further commission discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 9-0. Thank you. Item number 29.
The public hearing on item 29 is now open. Item 29 is a motion to adopt resolution releasing a portion of a 15-foot utility easement as recorded in Official Records Book 18128, page 934 in the city of Pompano Beach. No member of the public has signed up to speak on this item.
Okay, public portion closed.
Move it, please. Move it, please.
Commit. I've lost control. How many meeting is this? I've already lost control.
Here.
It must be that senator.
Mayor, I'd like to move it, please.
Commissioner Bogan moves the item.
Second.
And Commissioner, I'm going to recognize Commissioner McKenzie as a second on that one, okay?
There you go.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 9-0. Thank you so much. Item number 30.
The public hearing on item 30 is now open. Item 30 is a motion to adopt resolution pertaining to library fees and charges, repealing sections 37.10 through 37.12, and creating sections 37.10 and 37.11 of the County Administrative Code. No member of the public has signed up to speak on this item.
Okay, so public portion closed.
Mayor.
Yes, Commissioner Furr.
Yes. With regard to this resolution, it is one of those resolutions that seems counterintuitive, that the fact that you eliminate fines, that it would be better for the library. Turns out circulation has improved considerably. That small little fine has kept lots of families and lots of kids
Fantastic.
from using our public libraries. So the fact that we've done this, it has been for the better of the library, and I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Furr moves it. Commissioner Udine seconds the item. Any further discussion?
He didn't talk into the mic. He didn't get that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 9-0. Mr. Meyer, see what you have discovered, and you have made this happen today.
This is your.
Okay.
So
When in
ruined a
doubt, blame
perfectly good
someone
meeting.
else. I'm blaming you, sir. Item 31, the last on the public hearing.
The public hearing on item 31 is now open. Our final public hearing item is item 31, which is a motion to enact ordinance pertaining to front yard fences located in Roosevelt Gardens, amending section 39-638 of the County Code of Ordinances. One member of the public has signed up to speak on this item, Carmen Ramirez.
Very good. Ms. Rivera, would you please come forward?
I think.
And good morning to you.
Good morning. So I'm here because I live in the Roosevelt Gardens community. I live on Northwest 29th Terrace and 10th Court. I've had multiple vehicles go into my house and onto my yard due to not having a four-way stop, but only a two-way stop. I feel that having a fence in my front yard would prevent less property damage to my house. and it wouldn't interfere with anything concerning the community safety.
So you're in favor?
Thank you so much. You're in favor of it, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much. Yes, Senator Geller? Okay, hold on. Any further public wish to speak on this item? I'm seeing hands raised. I know they're not signed up, but I'm going to let them come forward and speak. And I'm going to ask that you state your name for the record, if you would. Were the three were signed up? Okay, good.
No.
Only the one was signed up, but I see two more that raised their hands, so I'm allowed them to speak. So just recognize yourself. Your name and
Good morning. My name is Kenneth Collins. I did sign up. I'm not sure what happened, but I'm here.
thank you for being here.
Yes. I'm opposed to the ordinance, like my neighbor said. Well, let me start off by saying I reside in Roosevelt Gardens. I've lived there for the majority of my life. I've seen a lot of changes in the area, some good, a lot not so good. I believe that this fence situation is one of the not so good things that are taking place. The fences, they provide a kind of a safety net for the area. I'm not sure if you guys ride around in the neighborhood. It's not the best of neighborhoods. There's a lot of illegal activity, a lot of theft. I believe the fences, they provide a way for us to like have a preventative measure as far as those stuffs. And also there are a lot of dogs in the area. The fences, they are defense for those dogs. Not all of them have leashes. Some of them are roaming through the streets. Also,
I'll let you speak, ma'am, a moment here. Just let him finish up.
okay, well, yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say.
Okay, thank you so much. Ma'am, would you just state your name for the record?
I'm Lisa Collins. I'm the mother of Kenneth Collins, and we do reside in this area, and our house has been fenced for just about as many years as the house has been there itself. That's over 50 years. And like he said, I believe the fence offer boundaries for those who don't know boundaries. And I feel like if you live in the area that long, you pay your taxes, you pay your house, why is it that other people are allowed to dictate to you, to tell you that you're not allowed to have a fence? The fence isn't broken down, the fence is in good condition, it serves its purpose, and I don't see why it should be a problem. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, ma'am, so much. Appreciate you. Any other public? I don't see. Very good. Public portion closed. We're going to begin with commission discussion. Again, Senator, if you will, I'm going to yield to Commissioner McKenzie. Okay, but is that okay?
That's fine.
All right, Senator Geller, move forward, and then we'll have Commissioner McKenzie. Go ahead.
I was tasked with, on February 7th, looking into this matter. We had a HOA president, Elijah Lewis, came to us and stated made some statements about why we should not allow fences. I took on the task, took it seriously, and I think 2 days later, reached out to Mr. Lewis, asked him to hold a HOA meeting. He refused. I then gave him a date to do a ride-along with me. I picked him up 4 days later from his household, and we rode for 2 hours in Roosevelt Gardens, a neighborhood in which I was born in that neighborhood, on 29th, so I'm very familiar with the neighborhood. I do not in any way think it's a bad neighborhood. I think it's a neighborhood that needs some attention, and that's why it resides in the BMSD, and you all have done it way before me, put a lot of attention and resources in that area, and I would like to continue to do that. But I think we got here because a fence was erected in the front yard under the current ordinance. I'm not sure whose yard it was, maybe Ms. Ramirez, I'm not sure, but all they had to do was go out and enforce the codes, and she would have been cited for putting up a fence without a permit, and then they would have found that it did not comply with the laws. But they took this and used it, in my opinion, to create a fence war, if you will. So we, meaning staff, was directed to send a survey out. We sent a survey out. If you look at the material, I think you back up, survey went out, 107 people said yes. Fences should be allowed in the front yard. Should chain link fences be allowed in the front yard? 101 people said yes. 11 said no. On the 107, 5 said no. Another group of residents from that neighborhood decided to meet. Some 30-plus residents. Not one person in that room opposed us changing the fence ordinance. And while I was riding around, what I noticed, and I think this is where the aggravation comes in, there are a lot of people who got stuck in this first ordinance. We saw about 38 fences in disrepair. Had they gone to get a permit to repair those fences, they would have gotten caught between what's on the books now, and they would have to remove that fence. For the record, I am not a chain link fence advocate. Do not like them at all. But if the property owners in this neighborhood wants to put fences up in their front yards and they meet our minimum requirements, I think they should be allowed to do that. I was very honored to take on this task. And even in the last minute, Mr. Lewis decided to call me yesterday, and we spent an hour and 5 minutes on the phone. And he talked about the fence ordinance. He gave me the history of it. He wanted me to be the advocate today. But I'm advocating for the majority, which is to move this ordinance forward. I think it's what the neighbors want. And I don't think a lot of people are going to be applying for chain link fences. It's a thing of the past. I think what I've seen in Ms. Morera's yard is an iron fence, I believe it is, or some type of picket fence. No? But I saw some of these in the neighborhood as I rode around, nice wooden fences, some of this new fancy stuff, and I think the new people that are coming to the neighborhoods, and even some of the existing neighbors, when they put up fences, they're putting up the PVCs and the nice new fences, and if they want to put a fence in the front yard, I mean, have at it, because everyone else in this town is allowed to put fences in their front yard if it meets the minimum requirements. So I'm asking this board, as we move forward, let's support this, and I don't think we're going to have an issue. I'm sure Mr. Lewis is coming back. He's already put the IG on notice, but I don't know what for. But he is taking these steps, and I'm sure I have another ride along. I'm sure I'll have another phone call, but I know him personally, and I don't have a problem riding along or listening to him. But that neighborhood you all need to get involved. There's a group of citizens that are meeting over there. They know what they want. They sound just like the four of you, and just stay involved. Give me what you want, and I'll be your voice in that neighborhood, along with this commission.
Thank you, Commissioner. Senator Geller, I think he answered your questions. That's why I figured he might have.
I'll second his motion.
Hold on, any further commission discussion? Okay.
And I would like to move it so Mr. Lewis can direct all of his energy at me.
Okay, it's moved by Commissioner McGinty, second by Commissioner Rogers at this point. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. That ends our public hearings. We are now on our regular agenda. Item 32 is a delegation. Please.
Item 32 is a delegation Mark S. Young in regards to West Park government.
Very good. Mr. Young? Can you please come forward? You do have 3 minutes for your delegation remarks.
Yes, my name is Mark Young, and I do live in the city of West Park. I've been there since 1965. My parents raised me there. And yes, I love the place. I had some issues with the incorporation of it, but I learned to accept it and love it, and that's why I'm here today. We are a small city, and in recent times, we have fell in a pile of quicksand of mismanagement and shenanigan behavior. I've addressed these issues with the commission, and I simply asked them to come out in the community and look at the allegations that I'm making and determine whether it have merit. because the city manager is not telling the truth, okay? And the project I'm referring to is the Southwest 25th Street Road Reconstruction Project. And there was many blemishes on that project. We have a neighbor that was live on the same block, have worked in that field for over 60 years. He came to my attention because I am the voice for the community. I am a community activist as well as a resident on that block. My driveway tie-in has been taken up twice, put down twice, and it's still not correct. It's an X in all of the driveways, and those X's would not have occurred had not I brought this forward and made commotion. Okay, I think that we need to come together and be the integrity for the whole Broward County. And that's why I reached out to you, Mr. Furr, Commissioner Furr, Mayor Fisher. Okay, you had the pleasure of visiting us one night, and you know, you had to take off. I'm sorry you didn't get the aftermath of what happened after you left. Okay, but I'm also working on this here item with Waste Pro Construction. I mean, we have awful service from them. You look at our roads, you think our roads, we live in a rat-infested neighborhood. I mean, they repeatedly bring in trucks that is so deficient and leak hazardous material back on the roadway, and when I bring it to the commission, nothing is getting done. Okay, it's been a year. It's been a whole year. I have a timeline would prove every single thing that I'm saying is true, and I hope that this commission will get involved with me and assist me in this matter. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Young, for your comments. We'll take them in consideration. Thank you so much. Item 34. Reading clerk.
Item 34 is a motion to approve terminal building lease agreement between Broward County and Phoenix Logistics, Inc. for the lease and use of airline ticket office space in Terminal 4 ticketing level and operation space in Terminal 4 Concourse G ramp level at Fort Lauderdale International Airport. No member of the public has signed up to speak.
Move approval.
Moved by Senator Geller, second by Commissioner Udine. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously, 9-0. Item 35.
Item 35, motion A is a motion to approve agreement between Broward County and Keith and Associates, Inc., doing business as Keith for CEI services for airport utilities and pavement projects. Motion B is a motion to approve agreement between Broward County and Gannett Fleming, Inc. for CEI services for airport utilities and pavement projects. Motion C is a motion to approve agreement between Broward County and EXP US Services, Inc. for CEI services for airport utilities and pavement. No member of the public has signed up to speak on this item.
Mayor, move A, B, and C.
Thank you, Commissioner Bogan, seconded by? Seconded by Vice Mayor. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously, 9-0. Thank you. Puts us on item number 36.
36, motion A is a motion to approve sole brand designation of Allen Enterprises, Inc. to provide ADB safe gate airfield lighting and signage, replacement parts, and sign panels at Fort Lauderdale International Airport. Motion B is a motion to award open-end contract to sole source vendor Allen Enterprises, Inc. for ADB safe gate airfield lighting and signage for the Broward County Aviation Department. No member of the public has signed up to speak.
Very good. Is there a motion? What happened? All of a sudden, everybody sits back. Senator Geller moves it. Commissioner Furr seconds it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 9-0. Thank you. Item number 40.
Item 40 is a motion to discuss and direct county staff to develop in consultation with a group appointed by the Chief Judge of Broward County and the Broward County Bar Association a proposed design for subsequent board consideration of a memorial wall at the main courthouse to honor the service of those Broward County Circuit or County Court judges who have passed away. No member of the public has signed up to speak.
Very good. I'm going to turn it over to Senator Geller, since this is his item, to explain.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We are recently getting a large number of requests for courtrooms named after people and things of that nature, and I think we should provide some recognition but not necessarily naming every courtroom after each individual judge that has passed. And I think an appropriate thing might be to have a overall, I'd call it a memorial wall. And I am completely flexible on the design. I mean, whether or not it is a solid wall with names chiseled into it, whether it's a wall like many of us see at temples or churches that have, like a tree with leaves. I'd like this to be designed by someone that is more familiar with the courthouse, either the chief judge, my proposal currently, but this is just a motion to direct, is the Broward Bar Association and the chief judge appointing people. I have absolutely no pride of authorship. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care who appoints it. I think there should be some additional recognition for former chief judges as opposed to, all of the judges. But beyond that, this is just a motion to direct. I think it's an appropriate way of both showing recognition for our former judges as well as ensuring that the time of this commission is not spent, arguing whether Judge Smith or Judge Jones is more deserving of, former Judge Smith or former Judge Jones is more deserving of having a courtroom. So that's what I am proposing, Mr. Mayor. And again, I am wide open for any amendments, but the way it reads now would be to ask the chief judge and the bar to jointly appoint the committee to design it.
I recognize Commissioner Bogan. He co-sponsored the item. Go ahead.
I'd like to offer a friendly amendment, if I can. I want to read just real quickly an email that all of you have gotten from our wonderful county administrator, just to refresh your recollection. Last April 19th, Aiden Perry was walking with his mother when a car driven by another teenager lost control, went into a neighborhood lake. Aiden saw what happened, quickly sprung into action. Without hesitation, he jumped into the lake to help the individual in the sinking car. Very tragically, both Aiden and the driver of the vehicle lost their lives. For his heroic actions, Aiden's received the Broward County Medal of Valor. I think, Mayor Geller, you were the time about at that time.
I created it.
Yeah, and so instead of just limiting this to judges, other counties I've seen have what they call as a wall of fame or a hall of hall of fame or wall of fame, where you could put whether it's a judge or a medal of valor. So we honor somebody with a medal of valor, and just kind of so if if somebody does get a medal of valor, usually you could put it somewhere. So it makes it just more, for those people that we really want to honor, but not name a building after it, not name a courtroom after it, not name something, a major structure after it. So I would like to see if you'd be open to people like this Medal of Valor or people that you want to honor. That's number one.
And would that be, Commissioner Bogan, at the courthouse?
I mean,
because this is a courthouse issue with judges.
Me where I would put it, all I've done in the other counties, Miami-Dade, they have it at their airport. I've seen it in Orlando I've seen it at different airports where it's, honoring people, but where it is, it's not.
Well,
Mr. Mayor,
but we want to talk about this item particularly because at the courthouse, that's another item, Commissioner Bogan.
No, I'm not saying that. What I would do is instead of limiting this to what he's calling a.
This is the judges who have passed away.
He's calling this a memorial wall. I would just see if there was any interest in expanding it to something instead of a memorial wall. Call it a wall of fame or a wall of fame.
But you're saying actually that it would be maybe at a different location versus the courthouse.
That's not the location. Yeah, I haven't.
Because I want to stick to the item itself as being the courthouse with the judges.
Okay.
But if that's another item, we can also talk about that. I'm sure we can talk about that once we get this item move forward. But I think it's a great idea, but I think it would be at a different location rather than the courthout.
Mr. Mayor, I was going to say exact exactly the same thing. This one I'm proposing for the judges. I happen to think Commissioner Bogan has a good idea that when people receive Medal of Valor or other people we want to recognize, that we should have, whether it's at the airport, whether it's here at our new government center, which, you know, will be in the year 2066, but wherever, you know, I think that's a good idea. I just don't want to combine the two.
Okay, I'm going to make it two issues if I can. County Attorney, if we're going to talk about this particular item, I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about Commissioner Bogan's item at that point. Can we do that?
Of course, sir.
Okay, very good. So we're talking about item 40 on the judge's issue. We'll come back to you, Commissioner Bogan. Commissioner McKenzie?
I just want to make a comment. I think we all struggle with this name game. I think it's admirable that you said all of the judges. But when I look at naming something, I think historically, it's someone who did something outside of their job. These judges, this is their job. So if the wall was there and there was a judge that went over and beyond and jumped in the lake like Aiden did, you know, that's a heroic act. That's outside of what he signed up for his job. And I would just like to see it, I'm not gonna debate this, some type of criteria where we, you know, it's what did this person do outside of that? And maybe I don't understand what a judge does. And maybe some of you lawyers
To deal with lawyers every day is a heroic act, just so you know.
I never looked at it that way, so move forward.
All right, further.
But that's my point, and I think we all struggle with that because when we do it for the judges, are we going to do it for the teachers? Are we going to do it for the next group and the next group and the next group and the next group and the next group? Or is this an act of honor in your service over and beyond what you do for employment?
Commissioner, you bring a good point, which I was going to discuss too. I can do it right now, is that, so Senator, are you looking at, so if you have served as a judge, you are automatically placed on this memorial? So no matter what, whatever you've done, if you've served and you're a past judge, you become on this wall, right? That's your goal?
That's the concept. I think that would help prevent our consistently getting requests for naming courthouses after deceased judges, because otherwise I think we're going to be now seeing a lot of that, so I'm hoping we can do that. Now, again, with what Commissioner McKenzie was saying, which is a different thing, when we get to that, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to discuss that, and, you know, the Medal of Valor and things of that nature.
Right.
But right now, what I'm suggesting is just that we have something listed, the names of the deceased judges.
Okay, will everybody understand that, okay? All right?
Yeah.
Okay, Vice Mayor?
This might not be very popular, but whatever. No, I'm just wondering if, I mean, there needs to be some criteria. If someone was removed as a judge for one reason or another, we've had people removed as a judge, does that person's name go up on the wall? I mean, for doing some wrongdoing? I don't really understand that.
Why don't we just have it where one commissioner submits a judge's name to go on, it's not automatic, but if somebody submits it, then it would go on. If nobody submits it.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what the county attorney can chime in if he wants to. He's raising your hand. Did you want to? Because I think this item is automatically, if you're deceased, you go on. But can the commission have the authority, like Vice Mayor said, if someone was removed, can we have the authority, I guess, not to have that name on the wall, every wall?
Yes, sir. And the way we interpret this item, if we receive the direction, is basically to listen to the discussion, to work with, presumably with a committee established by the chief judge and the local bar association, to come back with things that address all of your concerns and address what you're looking for, and bring it back to you for final action on it. So the discussion is very helpful to us.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay, I'm going to recognize Commissioner Dean at this point.
So theoretically, while I have no problem with this, I just think that this starts us down a process that's not really going to end. I think if you looked, and it's a good idea, I like the concept of some kind of memorial somewhere. I'm not limiting it as far as what the judges do, because how are we going to have a memorial wall with every judge that's been deceased? Because there's always somebody that wants somebody on there. There are probably, and I don't know this for a fact, what do we have, a couple hundred deceased judges already? So the wall would be, I mean, going back to when the judiciary started in Broward County, there's always a grandson, a granddaughter, an aunt or an uncle or a niece or a nephew. I just think that this is something that we really don't need to get involved with. It's not a policy thing that our constituents are looking for. We have a naming policy. If you want to name rooms after somebody, I said last time, I'm voting no on this one that's before us. I think that what Commissioner McKenzie says is a good point. You're elected as a judge. You served as a judge. You did an excellent job. You got paid as a judge. And God bless you and thank you for your fantastic service. Different than sometimes we see somebody who comes in as a volunteer and sets the world on fire for some issue, and we want to kind of recognize that person, like a Rocky Rodriguez when we talked about, it's just different to me. So those are my comments, but whatever the will of the board is, but I think this is a solution looking for a problem that probably doesn't really exist, but I kind of like.
Okay. Commissioner Ryan?
My recollection of when this whole concept began was there was a contentious race for a congressional seat, and two of our then sitting county commissioners were, in a battle royale about who could they name, for streets, and I didn't think we got much out of it. I think a better idea is to let the cities, deal with like community heroes and things like that. This doesn't seem to be a regional issue. It's more like a, government closest to the people, like municipal governments can, have committees and talk about that, and then, build some kind of a plaque or something, at a city park that would recognize these folks. Otherwise, I mean, you got so many names on there that, somebody would be spending a couple hours just going through the names.
Okay, any further comments on this item? Senator?
Based on the very good debate that I've heard here, I think I'll withdraw that motion because I think that, I forget who said, maybe it was Commissioner Udine, the hundreds of judges that would apply to, I would withdraw this, and I would hope that Commissioner Bogan at the next meeting will bring up his idea on, I think that perhaps there should be something for Commissioner McKenzie and Commissioner Rogers not being aware. When I was mayor, I created the Broward Medal of Valor for people that had committed acts of bravery above and beyond. I think the first one went to somebody who actually died jumping into the ocean trying to save kids. He was one of two people. The other person survived, and between them they did rescue the kids, but one of them died. They were the first Broward Medal of Valor, and I think that there should be a place, whether it's at the airport or here, memorializing those people permanently, and perhaps other people. So, but that's a different motion than this, and I hope Commissioner Bogan will put that on the agenda at a future meeting.
All right. So you're going to withdraw, item 40. So item 40 is withdrawn, and Commissioner Bogan, I'm just going to ask Mr. Myers, can we continue this discussion on this particular item that Commissioner Bogan brought up, or should we wait for the next meeting?
It's your prerogative, Mayor. We're not taking final action on anything today, and it really is a separate item, but it's your prerogative.
You wanted to wait? I just didn't want Commissioner Bogan to feel slighted in any way.
Let's wait. That's okay.
Always want to take care of the commissioners.
He's a lawyer. He's okay.
All right. We're going to wait on that, all right? Okay. Very good. That moves us on to item number 41.
Item 41 is a motion to discuss and direct county administration to take appropriate action with regards to providing death benefits for law enforcement officers and firefighters who are killed on the line of duty in Broward County. 3 speakers have signed up to speak. The first is Jeff Morano, followed by Paul Kempinski.
Very good. So we're going to, Commissioner Bogan, if it's okay, we'll have the public speak first, and you'll have the item at that particular time. So, Mr. Rana, would you please come forward, represents the FOP Lodge 24, the Hollywood Police as well.
I didn't recognize you in that suit.
Mr. Marana, do not listen to these folks. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Jeff Marana, representing Lodge 24. Several of our executive board is here today from Hollywood. Also up there are some gentlemen from Coral Springs Police Department. First and foremost, thank you for the kind words for Shelley Spivak, Hollywood resident, homeless advocate her entire life. And it was always better to be on her side of the argument than on the other, that's for sure. But thank you so much for that. And I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Representative Ryan and Senator Rich and Senator Geller for their time in the legislature, where they were always there for law enforcement, public service, for first responders, paramedics. They were always there. They were always on the side of the little guy fighting for benefits and protection for employees throughout the state of Florida. Thank you so much. But thank you very much, Commissioner Bogan, for bringing this forward. The FOP executive board that's here had to deal with 3 deaths in a very close proximity in Hollywood. One was COVID. Another one was an officer was shot and killed. And then within 8 hours later, another officer took his own life, unfortunately. So if you can imagine the logistics of putting all of that together was incredible. But there is money that does come in from the state. It comes in from different organizations. However, that mortgage or rent, nobody's really ever, addressed that, where a spouse, within maybe days or a week would have to come up with the mortgage payment without, submitting death certificates to different insurance companies or whatever. So I do thank you for bringing that forward, and I hope we get everybody's support on this. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you,
and for those that are celebrating, happy holiday.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Also, thank you for your service to the PBA. We appreciate you. Paul Kopinski, please come forward.
Hi, good morning. Paul Kopinski, Florida Fraternal Order Police, District 5. I'm here to speak about the item 41. Day in and day out, police officers and firefighters put themselves in harm's way in the service of others. In the last decade, 143 officers have lost their lives in the line of duty in the state of Florida, more than a dozen of those serving in Broward County. Police work is inherently dangerous. I myself nearly lost my life when I was shot by an armed robbery suspect just over a decade from now. I applaud the Commission for discussing this item. I thank Commissioner Bogan for his leadership on this, and I believe it will not only be well received by the thousands of law enforcement officers serving throughout Broward County, but will also allow local agencies to continue to recruit professional, high-quality law enforcement candidates to ensure the continued safety of Broward County. This benefit would truly honor those officers and firefighters that make the ultimate sacrifice. So thank you all.
Thank you, Paul. Last speaker.
That is Andrew Lafam Boyce.
Very good. Andrew, please come forward.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, County Administration. My name is Andrew LaFramboise. I'm the president of the Hollywood Fraternal Order Police Lodge 24. I just want to say thank you for trying to discuss something that normally is not that is out of the norm. You don't really see that with counties around here, that relationship with law enforcement and their officials and their cities. But this is setting a great precedence to showing the community that we're all one here, that when our officers fall, you pick up their families. That's something that every officer has in their back of their mind. What if something happens to me, what if it happens to them? And I think that it's just a great mindset to get into. We're doing a lot in Hollywood with the Fraternal Order Police, but this is a great standard to set throughout the county. I want to say thank you.
Thank you, sir. That concludes our public comments. The public portion closed. I'm going to now go to Commissioner Bogan for the item.
Thank you, Mayor. Not much to say except that law enforcement, firefighters, and law enforcement protect our citizens, our residents every day, and they're one of the few professions that put their lives on the line every day for us. And And while I know that they do get money from different sources, I've been told that sometimes the money takes a while to come. I heard one situation, it took 6 months to a year on some funding, but funding still doesn't last a lifetime. And I think that the minimal amount we're talking for rent or for mortgage for 1 year, the average mortgage in Broward County is, they say it ranges between $1,500 and $3,000 on the top end, the average mortgage. So, I mean, we're not talking with between 20 to 30 grand a year. I think it's deserving, and I'm proud to bring it forward.
Okay, Senator Geller.
First, one addition or correction on the exhibit 1, I guess, item 41, with the list of benefits, and it says may not be an exhaustive list. I know it's not exhaustive because when I was in the legislature, I passed one that's not here, and so I'd like that added, which is that if an officer is, or first responder is killed in the line of duty, that it provides to their surviving spouse or children an educational benefit that the state pays for them to go to a state university, state college, or vocational school. So you will find that. I think it's, if you look on the, I think it's PBA website, I think they can give you the site to that, but I would like that added to this exhibit. And I think it's a great thing, and I'd like to co-sponsor this.
Very good. Commissioner McKenzie, followed by Commissioner Udine.
I'm just basically looking for some clarity. I think conceptually, I like the idea, and I participated in the city of Fort Lauderdale when we had a similar situation. I don't think it was a year, and I don't know the details of it, but we did support something very similar to this. So my unclearness in this issue is the county doesn't have a police department. BSO is a constitutional office. And then there's 31 municipalities, either a contract from BSO or they have their own police departments, like my friends in Hollywood. How does this work? If we do this, how do we usurp that authority to make this happen? If we do this, I mean, how does it work? How does this look?
Commissioner Bogan, you can answer that. Is there a limit per family, or is it, how do you design?
I've been asked if it would be capped at $36,000 a year, with $3,000 being on the top end at $36,000. If you guys want to cap it, it's up to you. How does it look? It looks at, if God forbid, a police officer or firefighter in Broward County gets killed in the line of duty.
Anywhere in Broward County.
Police officer or firefighter in Broward County gets killed in the line of duty.
Okay.
We would immediately seek to contact that family and say, how can we, pay next month's rent for 12 months or next month's mortgage for 12 months. That's how I envision it, that simple. And
we can do that, right?
Commissioner McKenzie still has the floor. Go ahead.
I'm just trying to get clarity on.
Okay. Mr. Myers?
I mean, I think it would be legal to do this.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, I was asking Adam just to make sure we didn't have any impact bargaining obligations. We don't think that you would here, but as you mentioned, you have to define who's covered by it, what it covers, and I apologize, I'll catch up on what Commissioner Bogan said specifically. It is legal to do this.
And then lastly, I think when we do this, and I spoke with staff yesterday, I believe, it goes back to what Commissioner Udine said earlier, that we're opening up future folks in this county or in our organization that have a heart attack at their desk or falls off a lawnmower at a park. And I just want to, we're going to get the calls once I experienced this at Fort Lauderdale, so I want to make sure, that we prepare for that in the future. So, and it may be yes or no. I know we can make the decision, but those calls are going to come.
Mm-hmm. Commissioner Bogan, you want to respond to that
I'd love
question?
to. Well, it's unfortunate that people may pass away in whatever they're doing, whether they're a teacher, a lawyer, any profession. However, law enforcement is unique. They're out there every day risking their lives. I don't know any profession, firefighters and law enforcement, that go out every day to risk their lives and put their lives in danger for the public. So that's why I think it's a unique profession, and no other profession that I'm aware of does that.
Okay, and I agree, and I've been a big advocate for police and fire in my career. So, and even the districts I represent, oftentimes my constituents, have different perspectives, but I think there's no way to build relationships without sitting at the table, listening and supporting and then showing folks the things they do outside of when the siren is going on and the things that they do for community. So I'm a big supporter of fire and police, and I don't have a problem supporting this, but I wanted to make sure I got clarity so that when I go back to the residents, this is why we did it, this is who we're doing it for, and I don't have a problem.
Okay. Commissioner Dean's up, followed by Commissioner Ryan.
Thank you. The speakers that spoke, I think, brought up all excellent points. The third speaker that spoke, I think, brought up to me the point that I would make on this is the message that this sends to our community, that we're with first responders, I think is a powerful one. And I think it's a message that in this day and age, with everything that's going on in the world, is a message that I'm proud to send to the public, that we stand with our law enforcement officers and our public safety officers. I'm supportive of this idea. I think this is a good idea. I don't think it's going to be that much of a financial burden, because I pray that it's not. I hope we never have to use it, obviously. But the only thing that I would say is, while I support this, I think we would need to have, and this is probably something that would need to be reviewed by county administration and Mr. Katzman in the employment section of our legal team. I just want to know the process of how it works. I'm supportive, but I think not only should it be a police officer, like Commissioner Bogan said, if it's a firefighter that's out responding on a call and they get, or an EMT operator, I just need to see more of how this is going to work out, what the definitions are and how it would be, but I'm supportive of this because I think it's important. Not only do I think we should be doing this, and I don't want to love this to death so that it couldn't happen, but I think we should reach out to our cities and have them make the same commitment with us. And we can even do it like Commissioner McKenzie said. We don't have a police and fire department theoretically, but let's do it based on population or something where everybody kicks the dollars in that would be necessary so that our entire community and 31 municipalities can have buy-in with something like this. That being said, I'm going to vote for it. I'm in favor of it, but I just think we should do it the right way so that we don't open ourselves up to challenges.
Okay. Commissioner Bogan, do you want to respond since you're the item?
I just want to know if he wants to add, I already have firefighters, and do you want to add the paramedics and those that are, get killed? I mean, I don't really have heard of them getting killed.
I think if you define firefighters, they are now EMT. They are all one. Paramedics and firefighters are all one unit.
So it's including, it doesn't include that.
Okay.
So I don't know as far as to add it or not add it. I mean, I would need to see is this like an insurance policy? Is this a plan? How does this work? Is this just, if something happens, it just pops in and we do it? If that's what we're gonna do, let's come up with a budgetary number, put some money in a reserve fund in a budget, and come up with the parameters and let's do it. I don't wanna love it to death. If it can be done, let's do it, but I just would need to see what it can be on a staff level to have it done. I agree with it. Conceptually, I think it's a good idea. I think it's an important message to our constituency, but I think we should have the guardrails on what it should be.
Okay. Commissioner Ryan?
When we make this type of a recognition and compensation package, I think it needs to be narrowly tailored, and I see it going that way as it says that an officer who is killed in the line of duty. So we need to have some kind of an analysis as to what it means to be, to be killed in the line of duty. Obviously, somebody that is, like on the street and they, get into, a gunfight or something like that. I mean, that clearly applies. but then you have officers, and sometimes there's a higher propensity for, certain occupational illnesses. If you are a firefighter or a police officer, heart disease and some other, maladies that, more frequently, provide the causes for morbidity and mortality, in our law enforcement officers. What I think of is, and I think these officers well remember, I guess it was about 3 years ago, and at that time I was representing the part of Hollywood where Emerald Hills is, and a young officer was, I think he was working the midnight shift, and he actually may have been not scheduled to work that midnight shift, but he was there, and there were, a couple of bad guys that were breaking into cars in Emerald Hills, and this officer, confronted the burglar, and they got into a fight, and regrettably, the bad guy, he got the firearm from the officer and shot him, and the officer was killed. And the officer's partner is a kid that went to school with my son, and he was just absolutely just, broken up. And it's a really, really sad, state of affairs. We went to do we had a memorial service over there in Emerald Hills, and it had hundreds and hundreds of residents and police and fire and community activists from all around the city and the county that participated, and it was, I think it was a nice recognition. But these additional benefits, I think, are well worth it, and so I'm in favor of it. I do think that we want to work on the definition so that we have it, carefully tailored. But when we look at the eligible persons, if you're going to say, police and firefighters, I think you have to also bring in, our detention deputies, because, the job they do every day in the jails here, and we have, several of them here in Broward County, they have a, very hazardous activities, and I think that they ought to be included also. So that's something I think that you want to engage, and I say this to the county administrator, Monica, we want to engage, the unions on this and make sure that they, are aware. So this is not something that gives preference to one area of law enforcement over another one.
Thank you. Commissioner Rogers, followed by Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, colleagues. As I listened to the conversation, it's good when we can hear each other's opinion on this. I am saying definition is critically important, this conversation. When you speak to law enforcement, or you say police and fire in the line of duty, you can go to the prison system and say they're there every day. Their lives at risk every day. So do we include that group? And if someone is independently wealthy, I don't take wealth away, how do we define who would qualify? Just because you've lost a loved one, yes, it's hard and tough, they just qualify automatically because they died while they're on duty. I think definition is critically important. I think conversation with the cities, let's not be big brothers and just unfunded mandates going down to our cities. They should be a part of this discussion because I think they have the majority of that group that we might be looking at helping. But I think there's definition. I would want to know definitely, are we saying any and everybody regardless of their resources, okay? Or should we do everyone? I don't know, but I would like to include others in this discussion, like our cities.
Very good. Vice Mayor?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment. I think, there's a little work to be done on some of the aspects of it, but I certainly support the concept. of it. And I just want to say, it has nothing, actually, well, it does, that I think we'll be sending a very different message than what they're sending in Tallahassee. And I've spoken with many of our police officers. Last night I was at the Weston City Commission meeting talking with the police chief and the fire chief there, who are just devastated by the permitless carry bill that's been signed. And if we want to talk about danger for our police, that's just added exponentially by what happened there. So I think it's timely in the sense of, unfortunately, what's going on, and I hope we don't see more, but with the plethora of guns that'll be out there, who knows? So I certainly am supporting this concept, and we can just, I'd like to keep it fairly narrow, however, to police and fire personally. I know other people's jobs are dangerous too, but, I think they are the ones that are out there, with the guns every day, having to respond to domestic violence calls and all other kinds of things. So, and go into burning buildings, so forth. So I'd kind of like to keep it to that.
Okay. Commissioner Furr?
Thank you. Yeah, I think this is a good idea. And I appreciate what Commissioner Udine said on that. I do think it needs to be narrowly tailored. And I think we want to have a good examination of what benefits are currently available, so we find the niche where we can be most helpful there. Because I thought something was in the legislature right now that was speaking to this, and I could be wrong on this. I saw something on my phone a couple days ago that sounded similar to this. And I asked our county attorney to look and see if there was something there and I think Nathaniel had found something.
I think there was one bill that was not moving forward,
Okay.
was Marty's analysis, and the other one wasn't directly on point, but it was tangential, and this.
It sounded real similar, and I'm sure that the gentleman there would know the difference. But I think we want to know those distinctions, what's available, and make sure that we're fitting in the right niche. So.
Very good. Well, I would like to say some comments, but we can go around too if you want. That's okay. Commissioner, Rogers, do you have a further comment?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, colleagues. I am still not feeling where we're going with this, all right? I know I love my police, I love my law enforcement team, my firefighters. I'm very close to that group. But what is happening in the world today? I see our security person sitting out front of this building, and there's no protection for that person. And they do it every day. Their lives are at risk also, and they're here to protect us. So the definition for me is critically important, all right? A life is a life. Our law enforcement folks and firefighters, they're always running into danger. I understand that but we have to look at this world today and just know things are different, and we have to look at safety in the workplace. We are government officials, and we don't just go up to Tallahassee. We talk about Tallahassee every day, but when you get to that gate, you better go through that screening. And we try to do it here, but before you even get to the screening, you could be dead. Okay, so the world has changed. I'm just saying, define it. There's a cost. Always go back to those that will be paying before you start spending the monies. Let's have that conversation with those that we're looking to partner with.
So
Okay?
the good news is this item is obviously discussion and direction, so
Love the
obviously
discussion.
administration's hearing a lot of this already, so she can put it in to bring it back to us. I have continued round two, Senator Geller by Commissioner Udine, and then I'll try to wind up with Commissioner Bogan. I got Senator Geller first.
Very quickly, County Attorney, since it's just motion to direct, listening to the debate, I think that we have to provide in the language, but this is an expedited payment, because that's the example that had been given, that they don't wait. So as you draft, I'd like to see something that, like, upon, we're all going to know if a law enforcement officer is, or a firefighter is killed in the line of duty. So however you draft it, it shouldn't be, you have to get documents that won't be issued for 4 months. We want to make sure that it is an immediate payment.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Dean?
I just want to add one other thing too, in listening to all the conversation. And again, I just think the complication is the definition in the term sheets that are here. Because we sat as a body for the past 6 months talking about how 911 operators, we want them to be considered exactly as first responders in Tallahassee. So if a 911, I mean, these are just things that need to be hashed out as we bring them back. We're not going to say to Tallahassee, we want you to consider 911 operators the same as police officers and firefighters, and then when we have to do it, exclude them from a benefit that we're going to give police officers and firefighters. And I think we've seen real-world example that 911 operators with suicide and mental health, they lose their lives on the job. And I just don't want to exclude somebody and come across as two-faced as to what we're asking other groups to do. But again, I support it, but I think this needs to be done through administrative staff and the county attorney's office to bring us back something that we could vote on with terms that we can see and codify and put a financial number in there. Because we're going to have to budget for this too. We're going to have money sitting in a reserve account for whatever it is.
Okay, I'm going to do a wrap, and then I'm going to go to Ms. Shapiro, and then Commissioner Bogan's going to do a final wrap. So I agree with what has been said. The key is the budgetary part of it. And Ms. Shapiro, if you can kind of do analysis of the last, I don't know, 3 years or so of how many officers have and firefighters have died in the line of duty, just to give us an idea of what we're looking at. Are we looking at, 10 or 20 or whatever, so that ultimately, if we're going to put a cap on it, the cap does need to be reasonable to accommodate everybody. And we need to have a budget item, because this is recurring. This will be recurring year after year.
Okay.
I know, but I think that was police. I don't know if that was with fire as well. So we want to make sure that both categories are taken care of. So just make sure we get the numbers right when you bring it back to us, and ultimately what the recommendation would be as far as the budget, because again, that's got to be a set aside, as Commissioner Dean talked about. And in some years it might not, but some years, but it's a recurring cost. We need to make sure we have those dollars, okay? Mr. Superior, you'll wind up, and then I'm going to have Commissioner Bogan finally bring it to close and landing. Ms. Superior, real quick.
So we will work on some analyses. I know that the FBI actually tracks the number of officers. I don't know about the firefighter side, but we will get that information. And they break that up into different categories, such as those that are killed during felonious activity or those that are accidental in nature. So we can validate some of that information, bring that back to you in an analysis, and then by Florida, by Broward, and so you guys can see some of that information. That should be helpful to you. We'll clean up the additional benefits, Senator Geller, that we distributed, and that'll be part of a larger analysis we bring back with a budget proposal. As you all know, by I believe May 5th is the date that you all will be bringing back your budget priorities, which is a month from tomorrow. So by then, for sure, we'll have this analysis ready with the dollars and everything, and be able to address that.
Perfect. Commissioner Bogan, bring it to a close, if you would,
Thank you,
sir.
Mayor. Look, the way I would be phrasing this would be any law enforcement officer in Broward County, firefighter, EMT, who are killed in the line of duty would receive this. We deal with nearly a $7 billion budget. So we're talking maybe setting aside, are we joking, $30,000? I mean, $36,000 a year, whatever. The reason I would not, while I have a bleeding heart, I would include security, whatever, but the problem with that is, if you're going to include the security guards downstairs, and then you got to talk about security guards in the courthouse, and security guys here, and then it just, while we all in public nowadays, unfortunately, we're all at risk, whether it be TSA operators, at the airport and stuff, but there is one profession, and only one profession, in my mind, that goes out every day where they actually put their lives, everybody's life, we walk out of this building, we can get killed. But there's one profession where they agree to put their life on the line every day. Security guards aren't agreeing to put their life on the line while they could get killed. Prison guards could get killed. We all can get killed. but to me, there's only one profession where every day, and they get in a car and they're out doing their job, they know that an arrest or some type of action they take could cause their life. And while I know everyone else can have the same thing, but I honestly believe that those people who are out on the road every day trying to protect us have a greater danger. And same with firefighters and EMT. So I think there's levels, maybe we'll call it levels of, and if we open up the door for guards and then security guards, you know, while I don't recall a security guard being killed in the line of duty, you know, maybe for years, I just think that opens up a huge door that I don't know if my commissioners are willing to go.
I think consensus is there, what you said. It's obviously consensus, which your item was speaking about. I don't think that there's issues are broad, and I think it's very specific, so I think we're
Well,
there.
I just wanted to address her concern.
I think we're there.
So that's, you know, so my motion to direct is basically that narrow, and, you know, putting aside 50 grand, making it even less in a budget a year, to me is kind of, you know, are we joking? You know, it's kind of a joke.
Okay.
And so.
You're moving it?
I asked somebody I'll move it.
Okay, moved by, Mr. Myers?
I just want to confirm, Mayor, that consistent with the discussion, something's being brought back to you with all of these parameters.
Correct.
Along those lines. Okay, just confirming.
Been moved by Commissioner Bogan, second by Commissioner Ryan.
I had that second in the microphone, but since your rules don't apply, go ahead, sir.
I was giving Commissioner Ryan, since he didn't have a second yet this, but Commissioner McKenzie, I apologize.
I refer to.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Okay, we are going to be able to.
Mayor, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just want to thank the gentleman for
Thanks, of
coming.
course.
Thank you all for coming.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Hey, keep that suit on.
Thank you, gentlemen, and the lady. Not just a gentleman, there's a lady there.
That's right.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay, we're going to be able to continue our agenda and close with our closed session, and we are able to do that after we have our non-agenda and report section at this particular time. So we're going to start with our reports, our non-agenda reports, and Commissioner Dean just walked out on me, so. Okay. I just mix it up all the time. Commissioner Ryan, how about you?
You trying to throw me under the bus?
I just want to wish everybody a happy Passover and Easter holiday. Come back safe, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
There you go. Commissioner Bogan?
A happy and healthy holiday for everybody, and our pilot project starts hopefully in a month, and we'll be working on saving lives. Looking forward to it.
Very good. Finally, huh? There we go. Commissioner McKenzie, any reports?
Happy holidays to everyone. Be safe. The next commission meeting, I want to bring some directives back so we can talk about a proposal for affordable housing that I think might work for us. As you heard in the earlier public input, people were talking about dogs and these fences and why they're doing it. I want to do a further dive with our Broward County animal control policies. I know that Commissioner Bogan has gone over and beyond, but I think a lot of what we see is more advocacy than it is when a resident picks up the phone and talks about that dog. And in my district, you don't commonly find chips in dogs. And when a dog is being cited by one of the municipalities, they say call Broward County. And Broward County policy is clear that dog gets an opportunity to roam for 3 days to find his way back home. But I heard it just recently, last night at a community meeting where the code officer said, you know, call Broward County. Well, they can't do anything about a roaming dog. But I want to just dig deeper about other wildlife animals that patrol or roam our neighborhoods and we're getting calls on, such as raccoons, possums, and the iguanas. And our policy deals with them, but they don't deal with chickens and roosters. I'm not saying either way we work this out, we either have a policy or we don't, so I can just tell that caller when they calls that we don't govern roosters. But I get countless amount of calls about this stuff, and I brought this up to staff probably the first week I was here, and I'm not gonna let this go until we, as a commission, come together and decide what we want. So if your rooster is walking in my yard, Commissioner Bogan, you must have a leash on.
Call KFC. That's who you call, KFC.
Hey.
And you saw the letter that went around about a particular water bill
Yes.
that I got involved in, but these are the type of calls that I get, and this is in Oakland Park. But the city of Fort Lauderdale supplies the water, but they had a water policy back then since this is Water Conservation Month, and you spoke about leaks. Well, we used to have a leak policy where they would credit back almost 75% of that money if you got the leak repaired and showed a bill from a professional. Well, upon my leaving the city, they changed that to 2 months of water bills. And you see situations like a $15,000 water bill. 2 months is like $100 and something bucks, or maybe $300. And this guy hadn't had a meter for a long time. And we were just trying to get the meter in to test to see if he had any further leaks from the new plumbing that was put in. And a bunch of people came on board, but he still had a big chunk left. And I don't know how do we deal with that when it's a leak, and maybe it's something we need to address, because a water bill of that magnitude could wipe out a family.
Definitely get with administration on those items so they can get those answers for you. And obviously, if you have motion to discuss, you can bring those.
Yeah, so I'm going to bring a couple of these up, but I just wanted for us to think about it.
Perfect. Thank you, Commissioner McKenzie. Commissioner Dean?
Just wish everybody a happy holidays. I have a couple things, but I'm just going to leave it at one because I'm sure everything else is going to be covered by other people as they speak on theirs. Tonight is Coral Springs Teen Political Forum, and I'll participate again this year like I try to do every year to see the different schools throughout Northwest Broward and Coral Springs come together. I think this year it's probably more important than some of the other previous years with everything that's going on statewide and in the world. I mean, they usually come with amazing questions, and I look forward. It's all student-run, student-led. I think I'm going to be on the panel with Joe Scott, the Supervisor of Elections, most of the Coral Springs City Commission, a couple of the school board members. Our Tallahassee delegation is up in Tallahassee, but I just think it's important to publicly recognize and thank them in the city of Coral Springs and their students up there for the hard work that they do on this event. And second, I just want to give a shout out to the convention center team on the Sea Trade conference that took place over the last week. I had the pleasure to go down to one of the events in the early evening, and it's the first time I've driven from this government center to the convention center when a convention was like letting out. I couldn't believe how many people were there. I mean, it was packed, thousands and thousands of people just walking across the street there, visiting the local businesses, the local hotels, and the whole thing. So well done, Visit Lauderdale, Stacy Ritter, and the convention center team. Those are my comments.
Thank you. Commissioner Rogers?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and to my colleague, I'm going to touch on that point again because I want to make sure our administrator got my point clearly. I made 2 points, security guards, and I also spoke to the earnings, who qualifies in the discussion? Who would qualify? What make you qualify other than that you have lost a loved one or that person died? I'm saying not everyone makes the same salary and will have financial issues. We all give when a law enforcement officer, anyone, passes or or lost a loved one. That's where I'm at. We all give when they die in the line of fire. I keep going back to that police officer that was on his bike and that palm came down and he has lost his life. But does that mean he's so in need that we have to pay his mortgage and rent for that period of time, whatever we determine? I'm just asking that we look into that. What are the definition and who would qualify, and why would you give to one and not the other? Okay? Is there a need So Commissioner, you don't have to answer me right now. We can't talk, but I know I'm talking to staff right now because they're the ones that's going to get everything that we have said, try to put it together, and bring it back to all of us. So I just wanted to add that, but I like the concept. I love the fact that we're trying to help those that will need us, especially when they die in the line of service. So I'm almost 95% there.
Okay. Well, again, we'll see that item when it comes back.
Exactly. I just
And we'll be
wanted-
able to, because I know it was merely focused on the motion, but we'll definitely see when it comes back.
Okay, I'm good. And I'm
Commissioner
happy-
Bogie, do you want to comment on that?
10 seconds, or just,
Okay.
you may vote no, but I think the consensus, because nobody else said anything, was they're going to narrowly construe this to not have security guards. And if somebody's making 150,000, someone's making, this is not about how much they're making. If someone's making 80,000, 50,000, 70,000, if you're a law enforcement officer, and you know, and that's basically, I wasn't taking into account, that's going to be my thing. I'm not going to look at how much they're making.
Okay, very good. Again, discussion for when the item comes back to us, but the administration is fully aware, and thank you, Commissioner Rogers, for sharing that.
Okay, and I took the opportunity to go to Tallahassee for Children's Week. I love that. I didn't go for Broward Days. I love hanging out with the children. They are future leaders, and they were able to share and learn about what we do and policy making. So we had an awesome time with our kids. Looking forward to this budget cycle, and have been talking to staff. They don't know where I'm going yet with all the monies that we need to do some of the things that is so important to all of us here in Broward County. So I know we will all support it because it's all about Broward County. We're still waiting to share information about Cricket 2024 and all of that. When my colleague was talking about trying to get across the street at the convention center, just watch what will happen in central Broward when you try to get across the street with 24,000 plus people visiting our area during that period of time for cricket, lovely cricket here in Broward County. So thank you very much. That's my
Thank you.
comment this evening.
Thank you, Commissioner. Senator Giller?
Two very brief items. Number one, I wanted to wish all those that will be observing them a Ramadan Mubarak, good Passover, and Happy Easter. At number one. And number two, I wish that my colleague, Commissioner Rogers, had not mentioned Tallahassee, because I am doing everything I can to and.
You can keep it.
Yeah.
You can keep it, Senator, if you wish.
I just.
Bring it.
Right. It's so depressing.
You'll make a great governor.
Just stick with the children.
What was the other second item, sir?
That was it.
Okay.
And I don't want to talk
Thank you,
about
Senator.
Tallahassee.
Thank you,
It's just
Senator.
too depressing.
Thank you, Senator. Commissioner Furr.
Thank you, thank you. A couple different things. First of all, happy holidays to everybody who's celebrating and observing this next week. Thursday, all of the cities met with regard to the solid waste. Yeah, an interlocal agreement has been dispersed. I want to thank County Attorney, Nathaniel, Matt. They've done a yeoman's job on this, of making sure that all of the interests, I think, that were presented by this commission were included, the safeguards, the guardrails, particularly, Senator Gallagher, I think you had mentioned that things don't happen without a partnership. And that, you know, if we're not in agreement, there's no agreement. And that was put in there solidly. So I think that was very helpful. Thank you.
Commissioner Furr.
Yeah.
Thank you for your leadership.
It's not over yet.
I know,
It's
but
not
thank
over
you.
yet.
Thank you.
So it is now going to every city for approval. I will be going to almost every city, as well as speaking at every city commission. We have 30 cities who have signed up on the MOU. It would be great to see unanimity on this. If you all have any say-so with your city commissions, do what you can. Because the difference is the cost. The more people that are part of this, the lower the price is for every citizen in this county. So that is the way to get this thing done. So we've asked them to pass it by June 1st. I'm hoping for us to take a look at this in the first week of May.
Good.
And then we'll get there. I also want to thank Animal Care and County Administration. We had 40 dogs or more. Oh my gosh, what a mess. But they really, you're gonna, I'll let you talk about it. But I want to thank them. They did a great job. What a yeoman's job to get through that. Also had a chance to visit the Pembroke Pines 911 ASAP. What a good group of people who are really giving it everything they got.
Amazing folks.
They are saying that the money that we put in there to change the salaries is making a difference. And it does seem like it. They're saying they still need time because they've got people going through the training, all that kind of stuff. I was in there watching them while they're being trained, and we're lucky to have them. It's a good group of people.
It is.
One of my favorite days of the year is coming up, annual countdown to kindergarten. Brings out about 1,000 kids, all the ones who are going to kindergarten this year. And what all the different school board, county, early learning coalition, children's services council helps make sure all these kids get there on the first day and they're ready. So it's real good. And lastly, it's school librarian day. I couldn't let it go.
All right. Very good.
That's all I got, yeah.
Very good.
Only mayor librarian.
librarian.
Exactly.
Except that we had a
Such
lot
a
of
proponent.
vacancies.
We appreciate you. Solid waste and librarian.
Right, that's it, right.
Okay.
That's it.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Except we have a lot of vacancies in librarians, yes, as a result of what's going on with our book banning and everything, so. Yeah, I don't want to get into Tallahassee either, Senator Geller, but I want to say one thing about what you said, Commissioner Rogers. You know what? I wish that we could stick with children and think that they were doing the right thing up there for children, which they are not. The Guardian ad litem program is having its own attacks this year on bills. So, I mean, it's everywhere. So I just, it's not a happy time. And by the way, I have to just say, for those of you who may not have read it, Senator Lauren Book was arrested last night with Nikki Fried, demonstrating against Senate Bill 300, which is the 6-week ban on abortion. She was released about 11 o'clock last night, and was in committee this morning, just to let you know what dedication. But how sad is that? That's what we've come to. That people are legitimately sitting there singing songs and protesting, and they get arrested. So, shame on everybody that was involved with that. Anyway, I want to just say, do you know if the website is up yet? Margaret said it might be up today. Yeah. Okay. I want to just tell you that I am so thrilled, and our communications department, Margaret Stapleton, is so wonderful. We started a group through the Coordinating Council of Broward to deal with this whole issue about the redetermination of Medicaid patients who are going to be thrown off. Actually, April 1st was the first day. And I got in touch with Margaret to let her know what we were doing and ask if the county could help, and she just dove in, I have to tell you. So we have our own website. It's medicaid.org. Broward.org/Medicaid. Basically, she has taken all the information that was put out there by DCF and others, providers, and coordinated into a communications plan for Medicaid redetermination. Just to let you know that we have, it's estimated about 63,000 recipients in Broward County that will receive a Medicaid redetermination notification upon completion. It's estimated that about 13,000 to 15,000 people in Broward County may no longer be eligible for Medicaid. And so what this does is to educate the people out there. It's with the school district, it's with the hospital districts, it's with everybody that touches the lives, particularly not only of children, but a lot of them are children who could possibly go on kid care, and there are other options as well. There's medically needy, there's the federally qualified health care centers. So we're trying to get the information out there, but this is just an amazing thing that our county is doing to participate in this collaboration. So I just want to say thank you to everybody involved there, and it's going to be great to be a part of that. I want to just say, I also visited the 911 center in Pembroke Pines yesterday. And I want to just say, Angie runs it. She's amazing. She's been around for 30 years. Oh, my goodness, she is just incredible. And I want to say, particularly because there's been some discussion about, looking at other call centers, the level of knowledge and commitment there is not, to me, easily replaceable by a call center. These people have such a passion for what they're doing, and she mentioned that the money is working. It's been terrific. I believe they have somewhere around a 3% rate only of vacancy now, and people are in training and everything. But it's just phenomenal. The one thing I would say is they're crowded. Because it's a small facility. We need to get moving on fixing this so that we can put these people in a bigger place. The meditation room, or where after you have a really bad call, say it's a drowning call or something, it's in the locker room. That's all they have. So unlike the Carl Springs one that I had visited that has its own, meditation room, and they are working though. I will tell you, I'm so excited about their commitment to peer counseling, because that's what our Behavioral Health Coalition really has done a terrific job getting providers there and in that area, and everyone is recognizing the importance of having someone who's actually gone through the experience being your counselor and to give you peer counseling. So that's going on there too. So I was really impressed with that. A couple of other quick things. This Saturday, I was invited to participate. Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz did as well with me for JetBlue has something called Fly Like a Girl, and it was wonderful. It's in the hangar at the airport with the JetBlue plane opened up. Debbie and I are sitting in the engine, actually. So there were 100 girls there from the Boys and Girls Clubs, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, other kinds of organizations. It was absolutely fabulous. It's the first time that they've done it in Fort Lauderdale. And the event gives, especially girls, there were a few boys there, but especially girls, it gives them a chance to learn about aviation, the aviation industry, and kind of foster an interest in a career. And just to let you know that JetBlue has the highest percentage of women of any airline, women hired. And they brought in people, machinists and pilots. It was one, I thought she was a young girl, but she's been a pilot for 20 years. And I tell you, one thing we have to do is they have a 5-year high school in New York, and a lot of these young women actually went through that 5-year program and then went into the aviation industry, and here they are. They're still there. They love it. So I was really excited about that. And lastly, I just want to mention that I had stiff competition over here, but I happened to be the one who won. But our Our task force for homelessness had their annual dinner. It's the first one in a while because of COVID, and gave out their awards. And the elected official of the year, as I said, I had tough competition. Beam Fur was on that list, and a couple of others. But I really appreciated the honor, considering what the county, and that's the point I made in my remarks, the services, what we're doing to expand our homeless services. And every single year we put more money in, we have more programs. So it was.
Mayor, I want to move for a recount on that vote. I think Commissioner Furr was scammed out of that. I want to recount.
Okay, and I think that
they lost by one.
It.
I'm not giving up.
So he's not giving up, and I'll vote for him next year. So, okay, and again, just I think that. Oh, and I just want to mention about demonstrating, because I don't know if you've all been watching the TV, but the people who are demonstrating are kids. They had a huge demonstration in Tennessee yesterday for the kids that were upset about the gun laws in Tennessee. And there were kids from elementary, middle, and high school out there, all of them leaving their classes and just going out to I mean, it just makes you feel good that there are you know, people out there, and especially children who are our future, that are out there demonstrating about things like this. So that's it.
Thank you. Just a good few items here. Number one, I want to thank everyone who attended Broward Days. I think it was a very successful trip. I want to thank Devin, who helped us there, really getting every one of us that were there to really advocate. I can't say lobby, advocate. And one of the items that we advocated that day was to take out the words "or local" when it came to local preference. And I'm excited to hear that yesterday that continues to be out of that bill. And so that was a great opportunity for us to achieve that goal, along with our port. The House representative that brought that forward, she did not mean it considered ports. It was more of reef issues outside. So she was able to understand our position and made that change. So anytime we can do that as a team, and I understand that yesterday I understood that Devin's leaving us, which is she's moving on to, so she was just a tremendous asset to us, and I want to thank her for her service publicly in Tallahassee for us. Congressman W. Watchman Schultz called me yesterday. Good news is she was able to get funding again, several $1 million for our port, and also for our Sheridan Street overpass issue. She wasn't able to get what Dr. Arado needed. Not her fault. It was the Corps' fault that was not ready yet to get those funding. So next year we will get those funding. I spoke to Dr. Arado this morning, and she understands it. Very disappointed. Again, so was the Congresswoman, very disappointed, but unfortunately couldn't get there because of the Corps issue. I know, Mr. Superior, you're going to talk about two things, animal care and also the term sheet for Broward Sheriff's Office. I want to thank our team who worked diligently to meet that deadline with the Broward Sheriff. I want to thank Sheriff Tony and his team. I am very pleased. I think the board is very pleased. That was our goal, is to get there, and we got there on the term sheet, and looking forward to that ILA at the end of the day for that. Animal care, again, thank you for your staff and everybody that worked hard, especially all those different agencies that you'll speak about. It was a great time to come together and collaborate together and communicate together to be one community. Anyway, congratulations to Bonnet House Museum for retaining their accreditation status. That was very, very good. The status is now valid for 10 years. Of the estimated 33 museums in the United States, less than 2,000 do receive that accreditation, so great achievement for Bonnet House. This past Tuesday, what was exciting to see our surtax really work. Wilton Manors had a nice ribbon cutting. I want to thank Gretchen Cassini and also their MAP team for making that little area and our surtax work in Wilton Manors on 26th. And Earth Day is observed, of course, on April the 22nd. But our parks and library divisions have several events and activities that are going throughout the month of April. So please check out broward.org/parks and broward.org/libraries for more information there. Again, happy holidays to everybody as well. I'm going to move it on to our other folks. I'm going to go with the county attorney. Do you have any other reports, sir?
No reports other than to, I just learned, well, first of all, a great NCAA season. Congratulations to FAU and to
Yes, and to UM.
Nova Southeastern. And Nova Southeastern.
Bring it home.
Undefeated national champions in Division II for basketball.
Yep.
And happy holidays, everyone. And see
Thank
you after this meeting in our.
Yes, we're going to move on after this, but please be patient, commissioners.
That's okay.
County Auditor, any words of wisdom?
Happy holidays to everyone.
Thank you, sir. I'll end up with Ms. Superior on a couple of items before we move on to our closed session, but go ahead.
So thank you. And yes, I know I see everyone antsy to get up, but I do want to share a couple of pieces of really great news. So, Mayor, as you shared, before we get to this quick slideshow, I want to talk about the BSO term sheet. You received an email from me last week when we got that signed. I do want to commend Michael Ruiz on my team. He worked tirelessly, when I tell you, anywhere and everywhere with Colonel Llerena of BSO to bring home that term sheet. We got a lot of things in there that the board, that you guys expressed was very important, including that 365-day expiration/termination lead time. So should that contract ever or agreement ever expire, that there is that transition time built in. So So there were a lot of heavy lifts there. We were real excited to bring that in for you. You guys got a copy of that. I'm happy to go through it. Michael is too, if you guys want to talk about that further. Commissioner Bogan, I know you mentioned the email I sent. Thank you for mentioning that. The purpose of me sharing that was because of the 5K run/walk that I will be walking, not running. But if you guys are interested, it's for a really great cause, and there'll be a lot of folks. It's the Panthers are a big sponsor as well. It'll be out at FLA Live on Sunday, April 16th at 7 a.m. And so I sent you the sign-up information for that. And lastly, I have a brief presentation that Emily put together. I asked her to put something together for us because I really wanted to share with you all the great work that our team did, and along with all the partners that we had. Emily would be here today, but she has been asked by the United States Humane Society to be at a conference today to speak on national animal welfare, on leadership. So she's being recognized nationally, and I thought that was worthy of sharing. So as you guys had heard last week, on Wednesday, we responded to a home in Dania Beach. It was initially a domestic violence situation, and the owner of the home was arrested. That began kind of the beginning of the end, for example, of that situation. Now, we have been engaged with that home for quite some time, but never have been able to gain access. The next day, 48 dogs were removed initially, and that was, we were assisted by BSO and that SVU unit. The Humane Society came and helped us as well. And then immediately we engaged with other jurisdictional partners. By the next day, we found another 15 dogs in the home. I'm going to show you a brief clip here in a minute so you'll get a sense of what was that situation was like. And it was a hoarding situation, so it was quite awful environment. By Saturday, all dogs had commitments, either from transfer partners or adopters, and Animal Care provided surgical intervention and continued media coverage, and obviously in the middle of all of this, one dog actually went into labor, so there was a total of 64 dogs in one home. And the happy news is there, like I said, the dogs have all been placed. This is a slide that is very telling about our community and those that are willing to help us. So we had a number of partners that came to help, and so every single dog found a home. In the middle of all that situation, as we started to respond, we were actually in the middle of doing some training out to Plantation and Coral Springs in their humane unit. And I'm going to show you, look at that little video. So these were some of the dogs in the middle. No. So unfortunately, if you see this is actually even dogs going in behind walls inside the home. They were living behind walls. It was a pretty awful situation. And I just wanted you guys to get a sense of what our team goes into on some of these situations, and they just jumped right in to try to assist and make sure they make a good situation out of a bad. The next steps there, you can see, I'll make this available to you if you're interested, but we continue to do our outreach with all of the municipalities. We had a tremendous amount of positive feedback from our municipalities in a special email, and I spoke with the city manager of Dania Beach a couple of times, really thanking our team and always being willing to be a partner to us, and so we're very grateful to that. I just wanted to share that. And finally, there's the happy slide with a lot of the pictures of our partners and adopters. And so I just really want to commend our team for an amazing job. So thank you. And thank you for sitting with me through that. And happy holidays. And I know now we'll be...
Yeah, hold on. Any questions, Sir Monica?
Monica, I think you should submit that presentation and that update to the Florida Association of Counties. They're always asking for things that are done great by one of the 67 counties. I think you should submit that as something that was done, so that
Good
we
idea.
can get some good, positive
All
public.
right, just put it on the record here, okay, that the public portion of today's meeting has concluded, and we are now going to room 430 for a closed security systems discussion as advertised in item agenda 45, and therefore this meeting is adjourned. We will not come back. Thank you.